When the gyms closed at the end of March, I knew I had to come up with innovative ways to work out at home. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money because the quarantine's only temporary, right? Or so we think. So I went on Amazon and I bought a bag that you can fill up with sand so that you can work out with weight and it's also adjustable. And the idea was that I would go to the beach and fill it up with sand. But I was reading the reviews and this guy said that he filled his up with sand from the beach and the rocks and the shells from the sand tore a hole in the lining of the bag. So he recommended going to the hardware store and buying sand from the hardware store, which sounds like an amazing idea, and it is, except I have really intense hardware store anxiety. I'm out of my element, the store is so big and overwhelming, I don't know where anything is, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm too embarrassed to ask the employees for help because I'm afraid that they'll silently judge me. Like, this girl doesn't know what she's doing, she doesn't even belong in this store. And the voice is not that of the hardware store employee, of course, it's that of my overly critical mother who judges everyone, including me. So I carry this voice with me everywhere, but it's especially intense at the hardware store where I'm out of my element. So knowing that I have hardware store anxiety, I want to be certain and confident on this trip to the hardware store because I need the sand to work out. So I researched the shit out of sand. Do they even sell sand in Hawaii? And they do, and it's on the Home Depot website and it's in stock in the store. Even better, I learned that the Home Depot app tells you where in the store the product actually is. So this is like the holy grail of half my hardware store anxiety. So I get in my car and I drive with super focus. And I strut in the door and the greeter says, "Hi, can I help you with anything today?" And for the first time ever, I confidently say, "No, I'm good," because I know exactly where I'm going, aisle 22, bin 12. So I get to aisle 22, bin 12, where the sand is, and I pick up a 50-pound bag of sand, and it's leaking. So I put that bag back, I pick up another 50-pound bag of sand, and it's leaking. So I put that bag back, I pick up another 50-pound bag of sand, and it's leaking. I can feel the anxiety start to swell up in my chest. This isn't part of the plan, the certain, confident plan. Now I have to ask a question, and I'm gonna be judged. But I need the sand to work out. So I find an employee and I explain to him that the bags are leaking and ask if he has a plastic bag to contain the leak. So he recites the plastic bag ban, so no, they don't have plastic bags, but he tells me they sell sand in the outside section. And I'm like, oh my God, the outside section? Like, how does that even work? How do you buy sand outside when the registers are inside? What if I accidentally steal something? What if I intentionally steal something? Maybe if Ulta had an outside section, I would know what's up. But I don't, so I totally freak out. I thank the guy, but I'm just ready to run out of the store. So I'm escaping the store and I'm like, I can't run away from this problem anymore and I need the sand to work out. So I find an employee at the front of the store and I'm like, hey, I need to buy the sand outside. And he's like, what kind of sand do you need? And I'm like, oh my God, he's asking questions. This isn't part of the certain confident plan. And I'm like, I don't know, the inside bags are leaking. So this guy was like, hey, maybe you should check out the outside sand. So he's like, well, the inside sand is bleached. It's for sandboxes, but the outside sand is unbleached. Is that okay with you? And I'm like, well, does the outside sand have rocks? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm interacting with this guy. I'm asking him questions back. I know what I'm talking about. And he's like, no, it doesn't have rocks. It's just unbleached. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I'll take a bag of that. So he's ringing me up. And it turns out that the outside sand is half the price of the inside sand. So I get 2 bags for the price of 1, which I never would have known any of this if I didn't have the courage to ask the questions. So then I take my receipt from the inside section and I go outside to the outside section and I find an employee out there and I'm like, hey, I just came from inside, now I'm outside and I don't know what I'm doing. So he looks at my receipt and he's like, oh yeah, cool, just pull your car up and I'll load it in your car. And that's exactly what happened. So then I was like, what was I so afraid of? I talked to 3 different employees. They were all super nice and helpful, all without judgment. I was the one judging them for projecting my overly critical mother on them. So then I pull up the wonderful Home Depot app and it was so amazing for helping me navigate the store, but it had no information on how to heal my mother issues. The end.